Ever wondered why some people effortlessly captivate a room? The audiobook, The Science of Charisma, Critical Thinking Steps for Magnetic Presence, unveils the secrets behind irresistible charm. Discover how to transform your social and professional life, leaving a lasting impression on everyone you meet. Don't let opportunities slip away due to lack of charisma. Unlock your potential to influence, connect, and lead with confidence. Your journey to becoming unforgettably magnetic starts here. Before we go on, I invite you to download the free bundle, which contains the ebook version of this book and an executive summary of all the chapters with the key takeaways. Studies show that engaging with content through multiple formats significantly enhances learning and retention. Click on the first link in the description to claim your free bundle now and maximize your learning potential. Now it's free, but it won't be for long, so make sure to grab it while you can. Chapter 1: Charisma Science. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly draw others to them, commanding attention and respect wherever they go? Perhaps you've marveled at a colleague's ability to win over a room full of skeptics, or admired a friend's knack for making instant connections with strangers. This magnetic quality, often described as charisma, has long been shrouded in mystery, viewed as an elusive trait bestowed upon a lucky few. But what if I told you that charisma isn't some mystical gift, but rather a set of learnable skills that anyone can develop? Welcome to the Science of Charisma, where we'll demystify this powerful social force and equip you with the tools to cultivate your own magnetic presence. For decades, charisma has been misunderstood as an innate quality, something you're either born with or not. This misconception has held countless individuals back from realizing their full potential as leaders, communicators, and influencers. The truth is far more empowering. Charisma is a skill that can be analyzed, practiced, and mastered through deliberate effort and critical thinking. At its core, charisma is about how we make others feel in our presence. It's the ability to inspire, attract, and influence through our behavior and communication. But what exactly creates this effect? Research in social cognition has revealed that people quickly judge others on two key dimensions: warmth and competence. A warm person appears friendly and empathetic, driving likability. A competent person appears capable and confident, commanding respect. Truly charismatic individuals excel at projecting both warmth and competence, creating an irresistible blend of trustworthiness and ability. Understanding these fundamental components allows us to break charisma down into observable, improvable parts. Just as an athlete might analyze and refine specific movements to enhance their performance, we can identify and cultivate the behaviors that contribute to a magnetic presence. This scientific approach to charisma opens up a world of possibilities for personal growth and social impact. But why does charisma matter? In both our personal and professional lives, the ability to connect with and influence others can be transformative. Socially, charisma helps us form deeper friendships, navigate social situations with ease, and become the kind of person others naturally gravitate towards. Professionally, it can accelerate our careers, enhance our leadership abilities, and expand our networks. Imagine walking into a job interview with the confidence to instantly build rapport with your interviewers, or delivering a presentation that leaves your audience inspired and motivated to act. These are the tangible benefits of developing your charisma. Before we delve deeper into the components of magnetic presence, it's crucial to dispel some common myths that often hold people back from embracing their charismatic potential. First and foremost is the notion that you either have it or you don't. This couldn't be further from the truth. While some individuals may have a natural inclination towards certain charismatic behaviors, the skills that create charisma can absolutely be learned and honed over time. Even the most captivating public speakers and influential leaders have put in countless hours of practice to refine their abilities. Another pervasive myth is that charisma is the exclusive domain of extroverts. In reality, introverts can be just as charismatic, often excelling in creating deep, meaningful connections through thoughtful conversation and attentive listening. Charisma isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about making others feel valued and understood. a skill that comes in many forms. It's also important to distinguish charisma from manipulation. Developing your charisma isn't about learning tricks to deceive or coerce others. Instead, it's about authentic self-improvement and enhancing your ability to communicate and connect. The goal is to inspire and uplift, not to manipulate or exploit. So how do we approach charisma from a scientific standpoint? Researchers have made significant strides in understanding the behaviors and qualities that contribute to charismatic presence. One fascinating study demonstrated that managers who received training in specific charismatic behaviors, such as storytelling techniques and confident body language, were subsequently rated as more effective leaders by their coworkers. This research underscores that charisma isn't some ineffable quality, but a set of concrete skills that can be taught and learned. Moreover, studies have shown just how quickly charisma can make an impact. In one experiment, students watching silent video clips of teachers for mere seconds were able to predict with surprising accuracy how those teachers would be rated by their actual students at the end of a semester. The teachers who came across as positive and enthusiastic in those brief moments were consistently rated more favorably months later. This highlights the immediate power of charismatic behaviors and the importance of cultivating the right habits from the start. As we embark on this journey to develop your magnetic presence, it's helpful to think like a scientist. Approach your social interactions as micro-experiments. Try out a new technique, like maintaining more consistent eye contact or asking more follow-up questions, and observe the results. Did people seem more engaged? Did the conversation flow more easily? By adopting this analytical mindset, you'll accelerate your growth and gain valuable insights into what works best for you. Throughout this book, we'll explore the key components that come together to create a truly magnetic presence. We'll delve into the art of logical communication, how to express your ideas with clarity and confidence, making you appear more credible and persuasive. You'll discover the power of storytelling to captivate and connect with others on an emotional level. We'll explore how curiosity and active listening can dramatically enhance your likability and build deeper relationships. You'll learn techniques for maintaining emotional composure, allowing you to stay calm and positive even under pressure, a trait that naturally draws others to you. We'll discuss ethical persuasion, teaching you to influence with integrity and reason. And of course, we'll cover the non-verbal aspects of charisma, body language, eye contact, and the elusive quality of presence that makes some people seem to light up a room. Each of these elements is a crucial piece of the charisma puzzle. But the true magic happens when you learn to integrate them seamlessly, creating a holistic presence that is greater than the sum of its parts. As you progress through the chapters, you'll begin to see how these various skills complement and reinforce each other, building towards a comprehensive transformation of how you interact with the world. To make the most of this journey, I encourage you to approach it with an active, participatory mindset. Don't just read passively. Engage with the material, try out the exercises, and reflect on your experiences. Consider keeping a journal to track your progress and insights. This isn't just a book to be read, it's a program to be lived. As we begin, it can be helpful to take stock of where you're starting from. Take a moment to reflect on your current comfort level in social situations, your clarity of communication, your listening skills, and other aspects of charisma we'll be exploring. This self-assessment will help you identify areas for growth and allow you to track your progress as you apply the techniques in this book. Remember, developing charisma is a journey, not a destination. Embrace a growth mindset, the belief that your abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. There will be challenges and setbacks along the way, but each interaction is an opportunity to learn and improve. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your successes, no matter how small, and view any missteps as valuable data to inform your ongoing growth. The science of charisma opens up a world of possibility. By understanding the underlying principles and deliberately practicing key skills, you can dramatically enhance your ability to connect, influence, and inspire. Whether you're looking to advance your career, deepen your relationships, or simply become more comfortable and confident in social situations, the techniques in this book will equip you with the tools to transform your presence. As we conclude this introductory chapter, I hope you're feeling a sense of excitement and possibility. The journey ahead is one of self-discovery and empowerment. You're about to unlock aspects of yourself you may never have realized existed, developing a magnetic presence that will open doors and create opportunities in every area of your life. In the chapters that follow, we'll dive deep into each component of charisma, providing you with both the theoretical understanding and practical exercises to cultivate your skills. You'll learn to project warmth and competence in a way that feels authentic to you, mastering the art of making others feel valued and inspired in your presence. The science of charisma awaits, ready to transform how you interact with the world. Are you ready to discover the magnetic presence within you? Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Grow to the Top and activate notifications to receive more self-improvement tips that will supercharge your growth. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2, Critical Thinking. As we embark on this journey to unlock your charismatic potential, you might be wondering what the secret ingredient is that transforms ordinary interactions into magnetic encounters. What if I told you that the key to developing irresistible charm lies not in a set of rehearsed techniques or superficial tricks, but in the very way you think about social interactions? Welcome to the world of critical thinking, the hidden engine that powers truly magnetic personalities. But what exactly does critical thinking have to do with charisma? At first glance, these two concepts might seem unrelated. After all, isn't charisma about warmth, presence, and connection, while critical thinking conjures images of logic, analysis, and perhaps even a bit of skepticism? The truth is, these two powerful forces are intimately connected, and mastering their interplay is what separates those who merely imitate charismatic behaviors from those who embody genuine magnetic presence. As we delve deeper into this chapter, you'll discover how adopting a critical thinking approach to your social interactions can dramatically enhance your charisma, allowing you to navigate any situation with confidence, authenticity, and impact. But let's start by clarifying what we mean by critical thinking in the context of charisma. It's not about being overly analytical or detached in your interactions. Rather, it's about developing a keen awareness of yourself, others, and the dynamics at play in any given situation. It's about questioning your assumptions, observing with intention, and making thoughtful adjustments to your approach. Imagine for a moment the most charismatic person you know. Perhaps it's a colleague who always seems to say the right thing in meetings, or a friend who effortlessly charms everyone they meet. While their behavior might appear effortless, chances are they're engaging in a subtle but powerful form of critical thinking. They're reading the room, picking up on subtle cues, and adapting their approach in real time. This ability to think critically about social situations is what allows them to consistently create positive, impactful interactions. The good news is that this skill can be developed. Just as you might train your body for physical performance, you can train your mind to become more socially adept. By applying critical thinking to your interactions, you'll develop a deeper understanding of social dynamics and your own patterns of behavior. This understanding will serve as the foundation for all the specific charisma techniques we'll explore in later chapters. Let's begin by focusing on self-awareness, the cornerstone of critical thinking in social contexts. The next time you're in a conversation, try to pay attention not just to what's being said, but to your own thoughts and feelings. Are you genuinely engaged, or are you anxiously planning what to say next? Are you making assumptions about how the other person perceives you, or are you staying open and present? This kind of metacognition, thinking about your thinking, might feel strange at first, but with practice, it becomes second nature, and it's incredibly powerful. By becoming aware of your mental state during interactions, you gain the ability to adjust your approach in real time. If you notice yourself becoming tense or defensive, you can consciously choose to relax and open up. If you catch yourself dominating the conversation, you can step back and create space for the other person to contribute. Here's a simple exercise to build this skill. After your next significant interaction, whether it's a work meeting, a social gathering, or even a casual chat with a neighbor, take a few moments to reflect. What do you think went well? Where did you feel most comfortable or effective? Were there any moments where you felt the energy shift, either positively or negatively? Jot down your observations. This practice of reflection will help you start identifying patterns in your interactions and give you valuable insights to work with. As you develop this self-awareness, you'll likely encounter some assumptions or beliefs about yourself that might be holding you back. Perhaps you've always thought of yourself as bad at small talk, or believe that you're just not a naturally charismatic person. It's time to challenge these assumptions. Critical thinking invites us to examine the evidence. Is it really true that you're bad at small talk, or is that just a story you've been telling yourself? Can you think of times when you've had engaging conversations with new people? Instead of accepting these limiting beliefs, start gathering evidence to support a more empowering view of yourself. This brings us to a crucial concept, the growth mindset. Pioneered by psychologist Carol Dweck, the growth mindset is the belief that abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. This is in contrast to a fixed mindset, which sees abilities as innate and unchangeable. Adopting a growth mindset about your social skills and charisma is transformative. Instead of thinking, "I'm just not a people person," you start to see every interaction as an opportunity to learn and improve. This shift in perspective alone can dramatically increase your charisma, as it allows you to approach social situations with curiosity and openness rather than anxiety or resignation. Remember, every charismatic person you admire was once a beginner. They've refined their skills through practice, reflection, and yes, critical thinking. By adopting this mindset, you're setting yourself up for continuous growth and improvement in your charismatic abilities. Now that we've laid the groundwork for self-awareness and mindset, let's turn our attention outward. A key aspect of critical thinking in social contexts is the ability to observe and analyze the dynamics around you. This skill, often referred to as reading the room, is what allows truly charismatic individuals to adapt their approach to any situation. Start by paying attention to group dynamics. In your next meeting or social gathering, notice who seems to have the most influence. What is it about their behavior that draws others in? Is it their confident posture, their ability to tell engaging stories, or perhaps the way they listen attentively to others? By observing these dynamics with a critical eye, you'll start to pick up on the subtle behaviors that contribute to charisma. It's equally important to notice how people react to you. Are they maintaining eye contact and leaning in when you speak, or do they seem distracted? Do they build on your ideas, or do conversations tend to fizzle out? These reactions provide valuable data about the effectiveness of your communication style. However, a word of caution: be careful about making snap judgments. Critical thinking involves gathering evidence before drawing conclusions. If someone yawns while you're speaking, it's easy to assume you're boring them, but a critical thinker considers alternative explanations. Perhaps they had a late night or are feeling under the weather. By avoiding hasty conclusions, you maintain your confidence and stay open to the possibility of positive interactions. This approach of treating each interaction as a source of data rather than a referendum on your worth is incredibly liberating. It allows you to detach from the emotional highs and lows of social encounters and instead view them as opportunities for learning and growth. As you gather this observational data, the next step is to reflect and adjust. After important interactions, take a moment to analyze what happened. What topics seemed to energize the conversation? When did you feel most connected to the other person? Were there any moments where you felt the energy dip? Over time, you'll start to notice patterns. Perhaps you realize that people respond particularly well when you share personal anecdotes, or that you tend to lose people's interest when you delve too deeply into technical details. These insights are gold. They give you specific areas to focus on as you refine your charismatic presence. The key is to approach this process with curiosity rather than judgment. You're not evaluating your worth as a person, you're gathering data to inform your growth. This detached, analytical approach is the essence of critical thinking applied to charisma. Once you've identified areas for improvement, the next step is to make small, intentional adjustments. Think of it as running a series of experiments. For example, if you've noticed that you tend to dominate conversations, you might set a goal to ask more questions in your next interaction. After trying this, reflect on how it went. Did the other person seem more engaged? Did you learn anything interesting? How did it feel to take this approach? By making one small change at a time and observing the results, you can systematically refine your charismatic behaviors. This iterative approach is far more effective than trying to overhaul your entire personality overnight. Remember, charisma is a skill that's developed over time through practice and reflection. As you engage in this process of observation and adjustment, it's important to be aware of cognitive biases that can skew your perceptions. One of the most common in social situations is confirmation bias, the tendency to notice evidence that confirms our existing beliefs while overlooking evidence that contradicts them. For instance, if you believe you're socially awkward, you might fixate on any small misstep in a conversation while ignoring the moments of genuine connection. A critical thinker recognizes this tendency and actively looks for evidence that challenges their assumptions. Make it a practice to notice the positive aspects of your interactions. Did the person smile at something you said? Did they ask follow-up questions about a topic you brought up? These small wins are just as important to acknowledge as areas for improvement. Another bias to be aware of is the fundamental attribution error, the tendency to attribute others' behavior to their personality rather than to situational factors. If someone seems disinterested in conversation, it's easy to assume they find you boring. But a critical thinker considers contextual factors. Perhaps they're preoccupied with a work problem or feeling unwell. By recognizing these biases, you can make more balanced, nuanced assessments of your social interactions. This not only helps you maintain confidence, but also allows you to respond more empathetically to others, which is a key component of charisma. As you develop your critical thinking skills in social contexts, you'll find that you become more adaptable and resilient. Instead of being thrown off by unexpected reactions or difficult personalities, you'll be able to analyze the situation and adjust your approach accordingly. This flexibility is a hallmark of truly charismatic individuals. They seem to always know the right thing to say or do because they're constantly reading and responding to the social environment. To accelerate your growth, consider developing a personal improvement plan. Set specific, measurable goals for your charisma development. For example, you might aim to initiate conversations with 3 new people at your next social event, or to speak up with a clear, concise point in your next team meeting. Having concrete goals gives you something to focus on and allows you to track your progress over time. Remember that not every strategy will work in every context. What's charismatic in a casual social setting might come across as inappropriate in a formal business meeting. Part of critical thinking is recognizing these contextual differences and adjusting your approach accordingly. View each interaction as an experiment. Some will go better than others, but all provide valuable data for your ongoing growth. Don't be afraid to seek feedback from trusted friends or colleagues. While it's important to develop your own critical thinking skills, outside perspectives can provide invaluable insights. You might ask a friend, "How did I come across in that conversation? Was there anything you think I could have done differently?" Be sure to approach this with a growth mindset. You're not looking for validation, but for constructive input to inform your development. As we wrap up this exploration of critical thinking and charisma, I hope you're beginning to see how powerful this approach can be. By developing your ability to observe, analyze, and adjust your social interactions, You're laying the foundation for truly magnetic charisma. This isn't about following a script or putting on an act. It's about becoming more intentional and thoughtful in your interactions, allowing your authentic self to shine through in the most effective way possible. Remember, charisma isn't a fixed trait, but a skill that can be developed through practice and reflection. By applying critical thinking to your social interactions, you're embarking on a journey of continuous growth and improvement. Every conversation, every meeting, every social gathering becomes an opportunity to refine your charismatic presence. As you move forward, keep cultivating that curiosity about yourself and others. Stay open to new insights and be willing to challenge your assumptions. The most charismatic individuals are those who never stop learning and growing. In the next chapter, we'll build on this foundation of critical thinking to explore a fascinating aspect of charisma, one that shapes how others perceive you before you even open your mouth. Are you ready to discover the silent signals that can make or break your magnetic presence? Chapter 3: Perception. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly command respect and admiration from the moment they enter a room? Or why certain individuals always manage to leave a lasting positive impression, even in brief encounters? The answer lies in a fascinating aspect of human psychology that forms the very foundation of charisma. As we delve into this chapter, we're about to uncover a powerful truth about magnetic presence, one that goes far beyond mere words or actions. We're entering the realm of perception, where the subtle interplay between what you project and what others perceive can make all the difference in your charismatic impact. But what exactly do we mean by perception in the context of charisma? It's not just about how you see yourself or even how you intend to come across. Instead, it's about understanding and shaping the lens through which others view you. This skill, the ability to manage perceptions, is a cornerstone of true charisma, and it's one that can be developed with intention and practice. Think back to a time when you met someone who immediately struck you as charismatic. What was it about them that left such a strong impression? Chances are, before they even spoke a word, you had already formed a positive opinion based on subtle cues: their posture, their smile, the way they carried themselves. This instant judgment is not unique to you. It's a fundamental aspect of human cognition. Our brains are wired to make rapid assessments of others, often within milliseconds of first encountering them. These snap judgments serve an evolutionary purpose, helping us quickly determine who might be a friend or foe, who we can trust, and who might pose a threat. In modern social and professional contexts, these instant evaluations play a crucial role in determining how others perceive our competence, trustworthiness, and overall charisma. Understanding this process is the first step in learning to manage perceptions effectively. It's not about manipulating others or presenting a false image. Rather, it's about ensuring that the best aspects of your authentic self shine through from the very first moment of an interaction. One of the most powerful phenomena at play in these first impressions is known as the halo effect. This cognitive bias causes our overall impression of a person to influence how we feel and think about their character. Essentially, if we perceive someone positively in one area, we're likely to view them positively in other areas as well. For instance, if you greet someone with a warm smile and confident posture, they may unconsciously attribute other positive qualities to you, assuming you're not only friendly but also competent and trustworthy. This effect can work in reverse too. A negative first impression in one area can cast a shadow over how people perceive your other qualities. The implications of the halo effect for charisma are profound. By consciously managing the initial impression you make, you can set the stage for positive perceptions across multiple dimensions of your personality and abilities. This isn't about creating a false image, but about ensuring that your best qualities are immediately apparent. Another crucial concept in the science of first impressions is known as thin slicing. Research has shown that people can make surprisingly accurate judgments about others based on very brief exposures, or thin slices, of their behavior. In one fascinating study, Observers watching just a few seconds of silent video footage of teachers were able to predict with remarkable accuracy how those teachers would be rated by their students at the end of a semester. This finding underscores the importance of being mindful of your nonverbal cues and overall presence. Every gesture, facial expression, and aspect of your appearance is contributing to the impression you're making, even in the briefest of encounters. Now, you might be wondering how to harness these psychological principles to enhance your charismatic presence. The key lies in understanding that while these judgments happen quickly and often subconsciously, the factors that influence them are largely within your control. Let's start with body language, one of the most immediate and powerful channels of nonverbal communication. Your posture, for instance, speaks volumes before you've said a word. Standing tall with your shoulders back and head held high conveys confidence and competence. This doesn't mean adopting a rigid or unnatural stance. The goal is to appear both confident and at ease. Eye contact is another crucial element of charismatic body language. Meeting someone's gaze directly, without staring, communicates attentiveness and sincerity. In many cultures, it's seen as a sign of trustworthiness and openness. However, it's important to be culturally sensitive, as norms around eye contact can vary. Your greeting, whether a handshake, a wave, or another culturally appropriate gesture, is often the first physical interaction you'll have with someone. Ensure it's firm and friendly, matching the level of formality appropriate to the situation. A limp handshake can undermine an otherwise strong first impression, while an overly aggressive one might be off-putting. While we can't change our facial features, we can absolutely control our expressions. A genuine smile is one of the most powerful tools in your charismatic arsenal. It not only makes you appear friendly and approachable, but can actually influence the emotional state of those around you. Smiles are contagious. When you smile at someone, they're likely to smile back, creating a positive feedback loop that enhances the overall interaction. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: appearances. While it's true that charisma goes far deeper than surface-level attributes, how you present yourself visually does matter. This isn't about conforming to conventional standards of attractiveness, but about showing that you care about your appearance and understand the context of your interactions. Dressing appropriately for the situation demonstrates social awareness and respect for others. In professional settings, this often means erring on the side of formality, at least until you've gauged the culture of the environment. In more casual contexts, the key is to look put together and intentional in your choices, even if the style is relaxed. Remember, the goal isn't to create a false image, but to present the best version of your authentic self. Choose clothing and grooming styles that make you feel confident and comfortable. When you feel good about how you look, it naturally boosts your self-assurance, which in turn enhances how others perceive you. While first impressions are crucial, managing perceptions is an ongoing process. Consistency is key in maintaining a charismatic presence over time. If you start off as warm and engaging, but later come across as aloof or disinterested, it can create cognitive dissonance in others, undermining the positive impression you initially made. This doesn't mean you need to be on all the time or never have a bad day. It's about establishing a baseline of positive, respectful interaction that people can rely on. Over time, this consistency builds a reputation. You become known as someone who is consistently warm, competent, and engaging. Reliability and integrity play a huge role in long-term perception management. Following through on commitments, no matter how small, reinforces the perception of you as trustworthy and dependable. If you say you'll send an email, send it. If you promise to make an introduction, do it. These seemingly small actions accumulate to form a powerful overall impression of your character. One of the trickier aspects of perception management is adapting to different contexts without coming across as inauthentic. What works in a casual social setting might be inappropriate in a formal business meeting. The key is to understand the norms and expectations of each environment you enter and adjust your behavior accordingly, while still remaining true to your core self. This is where critical thinking comes into play. Before entering a new situation, take a moment to consider the context. What's appropriate in terms of dress, language, and behavior? How can you adapt your natural style to fit the environment without feeling fake? By consciously thinking through these factors, you can navigate diverse situations with grace and authenticity. Understanding and considering others' perspectives is another crucial aspect of managing perceptions. Before and during interactions, try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. How might they be interpreting your words and actions? What might their concerns or priorities be? This kind of perspective taking allows you to adjust your approach in real time, ensuring your charismatic presence is tailored to your audience. It's also important to be aware of the role of social proof in shaping perceptions. People often look to how others react to you to form their own opinions. If you're kind and helpful to one person in a group, others are likely to view you more positively as well. This ripple effect can significantly enhance your charismatic impact in group settings. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, you might realize that someone has formed a misperception about you. Perhaps they've interpreted your confidence as arrogance or your quietness as disinterest. In these cases, it's important to have strategies for gently correcting these misperceptions over time. The key is to consistently demonstrate behavior that contradicts the misperception, while occasionally providing explicit clarification. For instance, if you sense that a colleague views you as aloof, make a conscious effort to engage them in friendly conversation. You might even directly address it. I realize I might have seemed distant when we first met. I was feeling a bit overwhelmed with the new job, but I'm really excited to be working with this team. As we wrap up this exploration of perception management, it's important to remember that the goal isn't to create a perfect, flawless image. Charisma isn't about being superhuman or never making mistakes. In fact, showing vulnerability and authenticity can often enhance your charismatic appeal. The true aim of understanding and managing perceptions is to ensure that your best qualities shine through consistently, allowing others to see and appreciate the genuine value you bring to every interaction. It's about removing barriers that might prevent others from recognizing your warmth, competence, and unique contributions. By consciously shaping the lens through which others view you, you're not manipulating or deceiving, but rather facilitating clearer, more positive connections. You're creating an environment where your authentic charisma can flourish and where others are more likely to respond positively to your presence. As you move forward, start paying closer attention to the subtle cues you're sending in your daily interactions. Notice how small adjustments in your body language, expression, or approach can shift the dynamic of a conversation. Practice consistency in your positive behaviors and be mindful of the ongoing impressions you're creating. Remember, every interaction is an opportunity to reinforce or enhance others' perceptions of you. With practice and awareness, you'll find that managing perceptions becomes second nature, an integral part of your charismatic presence. In our next chapter, we'll delve into a skill that can dramatically amplify your charismatic impact. It's a tool so powerful that it can turn a simple conversation into a memorable experience, leaving others hanging on your every word. Are you ready to unlock the secret language of truly magnetic communicators? Chapter 4: Communication. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to captivate their audience effortlessly, whether they're speaking to one person or addressing a crowded room? Their words flow with a magnetic quality, drawing listeners in and leaving a lasting impression. This ability to communicate with clarity, confidence, and charm is a cornerstone of charisma, and it's a skill that can transform your interactions in both personal and professional spheres. But what exactly is it about these magnetic communicators that sets them apart? Is it simply a matter of natural eloquence, or is there something more at play? As we delve into this chapter, we'll uncover the secrets behind truly compelling communication, and you'll discover that this powerful ability is within your reach. At its core, charismatic communication is a delicate balance of two key elements: clarity and warmth. Clarity ensures that your message is understood, while warmth makes it resonate on an emotional level. This combination is what makes people not just hear your words, but truly listen and connect with what you're saying. Let's start by considering the importance of clarity. When you speak with clarity, you're doing more than just articulating words clearly. You're organizing your thoughts in a way that makes it easy for others to follow and understand. This is where critical thinking plays a crucial role in communication. Before you even open your mouth to speak, taking a moment to organize your thoughts can make a world of difference. Consider this. Have you ever found yourself rambling in a conversation, losing track of your main point, or seeing your listener's eyes glaze over? This often happens when we start speaking without a clear idea of what we want to convey. To avoid this, try adopting the habit of briefly outlining your main point in your mind before you begin speaking. Ask yourself, what is the core message I want to get across? What's the purpose of this conversation? This simple practice can prevent rambling and ensure that you speak with purpose, whether you're sharing an anecdote with friends or presenting an idea in a professional setting. It's not about scripting every word, but about having a clear direction for your communication. One effective framework for organizing your thoughts is the PREP method. Point, reason, example, point, restated. This structure helps you present your ideas in a logical sequence that's easy for listeners to follow. For instance, if you're suggesting a new approach at work, you might start with your main point. I believe we should adopt a new project management system, followed by the reason. It will streamline our workflow. An example. For instance, it could reduce our meeting times by 30%, and then restate your point. Implementing this system would significantly improve our efficiency. Another crucial aspect of clear communication is adapting to your listener. This is where empathy and critical thinking intersect. Before you dive into a topic, consider your audience's level of knowledge. Are you speaking to experts in the field or to newcomers? Adjust your language and the depth of your explanation accordingly. For example, if you're an engineer explaining a technical concept to a non-technical client, you might need to avoid jargon or take the time to explain certain terms. This consideration shows respect for your listener and demonstrates your ability to make complex ideas accessible, a highly charismatic trait. Now, let's address some common pitfalls that can undermine the clarity of your communication. One of the most prevalent is the tendency to ramble. This often happens when we're nervous or overly excited about a topic. If you find yourself going off on tangents, don't be afraid to pause and reorient yourself. You might say something like, "Let me summarize my main point," or "to bring it back to the key issue." This not only helps you refocus, but also shows your listener that you value their time and attention. Another habit that can detract from clear communication is the overuse of filler words and hedge phrases. Words like like, and you know, or phrases such as I think maybe and I'm not sure but can make you sound uncertain and undermine your credibility. Instead of using these fillers, try embracing brief pauses. A moment of silence to gather your thoughts can actually make you sound more confident and thoughtful than a string of ums. One powerful technique for enhancing clarity is to speak in headlines. This means leading with your main point up front, then elaborating on it. For instance, instead of a long wind-up to your point, you might start with, "The key takeaway is that our new strategy increased sales by 25%, and then provide the supporting details." This approach immediately captures attention and ensures your main message isn't lost in the details. While clarity is crucial, it's only half of the equation in charismatic communication. The other half is warmth, the ability to connect emotionally with your listeners. This is where tone and pacing come into play. Your tone of voice can significantly impact how your message is received. A steady, confident tone naturally commands attention and respect. On the other hand, a hesitant or overly meek tone can undermine even the most well-thought-out message. If you're unsure about how you sound, try recording yourself speaking and listen back. Pay attention to whether your voice conveys the confidence and authority you intend. One common issue is the habit of raising your tone at the end of statements, inadvertently making them sound like questions. This can make you appear uncertain about your own ideas. Practice ending your statements with a slight downward inflection to signal certainty and conviction. Enthusiasm is another powerful tool in charismatic communication. When you're genuinely excited or passionate about what you're saying, let that energy come through in your voice. This doesn't mean you need to be loud or overly animated. Authentic enthusiasm can be conveyed even in a calm, measured tone. The key is to match your tone to the content and context of your message. Pacing is equally important. Speaking too quickly can make you seem nervous or make it difficult for listeners to keep up, while speaking too slowly might cause them to lose interest. A good rule of thumb is to speak slightly slower than your natural inclination, especially if you tend to speed up when nervous. This measured pace not only makes you easier to understand, but also conveys a sense of confidence and control. Don't underestimate the power of the pause. Strategic pauses after key points give your listeners a moment to absorb what you've said. They also create a sense of anticipation and can add emphasis to important ideas. In public speaking, pauses are particularly effective for building tension or allowing a crucial point to sink in. Now, let's consider the words you choose. In charismatic communication, simplicity often trumps complexity. Using clear, straightforward language doesn't mean dumbing down your ideas. It means making them accessible. Even when discussing complex topics, look for ways to explain concepts using analogies or everyday language. Inclusive language is another hallmark of charismatic communicators. Using we instead of I in group settings can foster a sense of teamwork and shared purpose. Phrases that invite others into the conversation, like, "Have you ever noticed?" or "What do you think about?" make your listeners feel valued and engaged. While we'll delve deeper into storytelling in the next chapter, it's worth noting here how descriptive language and metaphors can enhance your communication. Instead of saying, "The project was challenging," you might say, "Completing that project felt like running a marathon, grueling at times, but incredibly rewarding at the finish line." These vivid descriptions make your words more memorable and engaging. Engaging your listener is crucial for maintaining their interest and ensuring your message lands. One effective technique is the use of rhetorical questions. For example, in a team discussion, you might ask, "What's the biggest obstacle standing in our way right now?" even if you plan to answer the question yourself. This engages your audience's minds, making them active participants in the conversation rather than passive listeners. Checking for understanding is another important aspect of engagement. Phrases like, "Does that make sense?" or "What are your thoughts on this?" show that you care about your listeners' comprehension and value their input. This prevents you from monologuing and helps ensure your message is being received as intended. Remember, great communicators aren't just skilled at speaking, they're also adept at listening and responding in real time. Pay attention to your listeners' reactions, both verbal and nonverbal. If you notice confusion, take a moment to clarify. If you see excitement about a particular point, you might elaborate on that topic. This responsiveness makes the interaction feel more personal and dynamic, which is inherently charismatic. Of course, the context of your communication matters greatly. The way you speak in a casual conversation with friends will differ from how you present ideas in a formal work meeting. In casual settings, the key is to be articulate while remaining relaxed and authentic. When telling a story or sharing an anecdote, keep it concise and punchy. Remember, even in casual conversations, listening is just as important as speaking. Aim for a dialogue, not a monologue. In professional contexts, such as meetings or presentations, structure becomes even more critical. Come prepared with clear points so you're not scrambling for words when it's your turn to speak. When presenting ideas, show genuine enthusiasm. Colleagues and superiors alike are drawn to those who bring energy and clarity to their work. For public speaking scenarios, whether it's a wedding toast or a conference presentation, the fundamentals we've discussed become even more crucial. Know your key message, keep your language accessible, and find ways to connect with your audience through eye contact, appropriate humor, or relatable examples. As we conclude this chapter on communication, remember that becoming a charismatic communicator is a journey of continuous improvement. Each conversation, presentation, or interaction is an opportunity to refine your skills. Pay attention to how people respond to you, and don't be afraid to ask trusted friends or colleagues for feedback. The ability to communicate with clarity, warmth, and impact is a powerful aspect of charisma. By applying the principles we've discussed, organizing your thoughts, speaking with clarity and purpose, using engaging language, and adapting to your audience, you'll find your words carrying more weight and your presence becoming more magnetic. But communication is not just about what comes out of your mouth. In our next chapter, we'll explore a dimension of interaction that can elevate your charisma to new heights. It's a skill that can turn a simple exchange into a profound connection, leaving others feeling truly seen and valued. Are you ready to discover the hidden power that lies not in speaking, but in how you listen? Chapter 5, Storytelling. Have you ever noticed how some people have a way of captivating an entire room with just a few words? They might be recounting a simple experience, yet everyone leans in, hanging on every detail. There's a magic in their words that goes beyond mere information. It creates a connection, sparks emotions, and leaves a lasting impression. This magnetic quality isn't just a gift bestowed upon a lucky few. It's a skill that can be developed, and it's one of the most powerful tools in the charismatic individual's arsenal. As we delve into this chapter, we're about to uncover a fundamental aspect of human communication that has the power to transform your interactions, elevate your presence, and make your ideas unforgettable. It's a technique as old as humanity itself, yet its impact remains as potent as ever in our modern world. But what exactly is this powerful tool, and how can it enhance your charismatic presence? The answer lies in the art of storytelling. Far more than just a way to entertain, storytelling is a sophisticated communication technique that taps into the very core of how our brains process and remember information. It's a method that can turn dry facts into compelling narratives, abstract concepts into relatable experiences, and fleeting moments into lasting memories. Let's start by understanding why stories work so effectively on the human psyche. Our brains are wired for narrative. From the earliest days of human civilization, stories have been used to pass down knowledge, share experiences, and create bonds within communities. This deep-rooted connection to storytelling is still very much alive in our modern brains. When we hear a story, something remarkable happens in our minds. Multiple areas of the brain light up as if we're actually experiencing the events being described. This phenomenon, known as neural coupling, means that a well-told story can literally sync the storyteller's brain with those of the listeners. It's as if the audience is being transported into the world of the story, experiencing the emotions, sensations, and thoughts of the characters. This emotional engagement is what makes stories so powerful for creating connections and building charisma. When you tell a story about overcoming a challenge, your listeners don't just hear about your triumph. They feel it. They empathize with your struggle and share in your victory. This shared emotional experience creates a bond between you and your audience, making you more likable and your message more impactful. But the power of storytelling goes beyond just creating emotional connections. Stories have a remarkable ability to make information stick in our memories. Think about it. If someone rattles off a list of facts and figures, how much of that information will you remember an hour later? Now compare that to a vivid story that illustrates those same points. Chances are, the story will stay with you long after the bare facts have faded from memory. In fact, research suggests that information presented in story form can be up to 22 times more memorable than facts alone. This astounding statistic highlights why storytelling is such a crucial skill for anyone looking to enhance their charismatic presence. Whether you're trying to make a point in a business meeting, inspire a team, or simply make a lasting impression in a social setting, wrapping your message in a compelling narrative can dramatically increase its impact and memorability. Moreover, stories have a unique ability to build trust and authenticity. When you share a genuine story, especially one that reveals a bit of vulnerability or a lesson learned, you become more human in the eyes of your audience. You're no longer just a speaker delivering information. You're a real person with experiences and insights to share. This authenticity is a cornerstone of charisma, as people are naturally drawn to those who come across as genuine and relatable. Charismatic leaders often use stories to subtly convey their values and beliefs. Instead of simply stating, "I believe in innovation," a leader might share a story about a time when thinking outside the box led to a breakthrough. This approach not only makes the message more engaging, but also more believable. It shows rather than tells, allowing the audience to draw their own conclusions and internalize the message more deeply. Now that we understand why stories are so powerful, let's explore how to craft a compelling narrative. Every good story, whether it's a brief anecdote or a longer tale, follows a basic structure that hooks the listener and keeps them engaged. First, you need to set the scene. This doesn't mean giving a lengthy background. Rather, it's about providing just enough context to ground your listeners in the story's world. A simple phrase like, "Last summer while working on a challenging project," can be enough to set the stage. The key is to be concise yet vivid, giving your audience just enough information to picture the setting without bogging them down in unnecessary details. Next comes the heart of any engaging story, the conflict or challenge. This is what creates interest and keeps your listeners hooked. It could be a problem that needs solving, an unexpected obstacle, or a difficult decision. The key is to create a sense of tension or curiosity that makes your audience want to know what happens next. Finally, every story needs a resolution, and ideally, a point or lesson. This is where you tie everything together and relate it back to why you're telling the story in the first place. In a professional context, this might be how the experience relates to a current situation or illustrates a key principle. In a social setting, it could be a humorous punchline or a moment of insight. Remember, the goal isn't just to recount events, but to craft a narrative that serves a purpose. Whether you're using a story to persuade, inspire, or simply entertain, always keep in mind the message you want to convey. One of the biggest challenges in storytelling is keeping your audience engaged throughout. It's all too easy to lose listeners with a story that drags on too long or gets bogged down in unnecessary details. The key is to find the right balance between providing enough detail to make the story vivid and keeping it concise enough to maintain interest. Focus on including sensory or interesting details that really bring the story to life, but be ruthless in cutting out anything that doesn't serve the core narrative. If you're recounting a past event, resist the urge to chronicle every step. Instead, highlight the key moments that move the story forward and contribute to your overall point. A powerful technique for making your stories more engaging is to use dialogue and descriptive language. Instead of simply telling your audience how you felt in a situation, show them through your words. For example, rather than saying, "I was nervous," you might say, "My heart was pounding so hard, I could feel it in my throat." This kind of vivid description helps your listeners feel as if they're right there with you, experiencing the moment. Similarly, incorporating snippets of dialogue can bring a scene to life and make it more dynamic. A well-placed quote can reveal character, add humor, or emphasize a key point more effectively than simple narration. The way you deliver your story is just as important as its content. Pay attention to your pacing and use pauses strategically. Slow down when you're describing crucial or dramatic moments to build tension. Use a pause before revealing a key point or punchline to create anticipation. You might even lower your voice slightly when sharing something that seems confidential or surprising, as if you're letting your audience in on a secret. These performance aspects of storytelling can keep your listeners hanging on your every word. Of course, not every situation calls for a story, and not every story is appropriate for every audience. This is where critical thinking comes into play. Before launching into a narrative, always ask yourself, how does this story relate to my point or the current situation. If you can't draw a clear connection, it might be better to save that story for another time. Consider your audience carefully when selecting a story to tell. What kind of narrative would resonate with them? In a professional setting, you'll want to choose stories that are workplace appropriate and relevant to the business at hand. With friends, you might opt for more personal or humorous tales. Always be mindful of cultural sensitivities, especially in diverse groups. While personal stories often make for the most compelling narratives, it's important to strike a balance between being open and oversharing. Sharing a story about a professional challenge you overcame can be inspiring. Divulging intimate personal details to new acquaintances might make them uncomfortable. A charismatic storyteller has the emotional intelligence to gauge what level of personal disclosure is appropriate for each situation. To become a skilled storyteller, it's helpful to build up a repertoire of go-to stories that you can draw upon in various situations. Start by reflecting on your own experiences. What moments in your life have taught you valuable lessons? What funny or unusual things have happened to you? What challenges have you overcome? These personal experiences are gold mines for storytelling material. Make a list of these potential stories and spend some time developing them. Think about how you might structure each one for maximum impact. What details are essential? What's the key message or takeaway? Having a bank of well-crafted stories at your disposal means you'll always have something relevant to share, whether you're networking at a professional event or chatting with new friends at a social gathering. Practice is crucial in developing your storytelling skills. Start by telling your stories to trusted friends or family members and ask for honest feedback. Did the story hold their interest? Were there parts that dragged or felt unclear? You might even consider recording yourself telling a story and listening back to it. This can help you identify areas where you might improve your delivery or tighten up the narrative. Don't be afraid to refine and adjust your stories over time. The more you tell them, the more you'll discover what works and what doesn't. You might find that certain details resonate more with listeners than others, or that a particular way of phrasing something gets a better reaction. This iterative process of telling, reflecting, and refining is how you'll develop your unique storytelling style. It's worth noting that many accomplished speakers and leaders spend time rehearsing their stories. This doesn't make the stories any less authentic. Rather, it ensures that when the moment comes to share them, the delivery feels natural and confident. You're not reciting a memorized script, but rather becoming so comfortable with the core elements of your story that you can adapt it fluidly to any situation. Let's consider how storytelling can be applied in various contexts to enhance your charismatic presence. In social settings, stories can be a fantastic way to break the ice and reveal something about yourself in an engaging way. Instead of simply stating facts about your interests or experiences, weave them into brief anecdotes that invite further conversation. In professional contexts, storytelling can be a powerful tool for persuasion and leadership. When trying to convince colleagues of a new idea, a well-chosen story can illustrate its potential more vividly than a list of pros and cons. Leaders often use stories to inspire their teams, conveying vision and values in a way that resonates on an emotional level. Even in more formal situations like job interviews, the ability to tell a compelling story can set you apart. When asked about your strengths or experiences, responding with a brief, well-structured narrative can make your answer more memorable and impactful than a simple statement of facts. As you incorporate storytelling into your communication repertoire, you'll likely find that it becomes easier and more natural over time. You'll develop an instinct for when a story might be appropriate and how to tailor your narratives to different audiences and situations. This flexibility is a key aspect of charismatic communication. Remember, the goal of storytelling in the context of charisma isn't just to entertain, but to create connections, convey messages, and leave lasting impressions. A well-told story can change minds, inspire action, and forge bonds in ways that simple statements of fact rarely can. As we conclude this chapter, you should feel equipped with a powerful new tool for enhancing your charismatic presence. You understand why stories are so effective, how to craft them for maximum impact, and when to deploy them in various settings. With practice and reflection, you'll find that storytelling becomes an integral part of your communication style, helping you to connect more deeply with others and leave a lasting impression wherever you go. But as powerful as storytelling is, it's only one piece of the charisma puzzle. In our next chapter, we'll explore a skill that can dramatically amplify your magnetic presence, one that doesn't require you to say a word, yet can make others feel truly seen and understood. Are you ready to discover the silent power that can transform your interactions and deepen your connections? Chapter 6, Questioning. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have an almost magical ability to connect with others? They walk into a room, and within minutes, they're engaged in deep, meaningful conversations, leaving everyone they interact with feeling valued and understood. What's their secret? Is it an innate gift, or is there something more to it? As we delve into this chapter, we're about to uncover a powerful aspect of charisma that often goes overlooked. It's a skill that can transform your interactions, deepen your relationships, and dramatically enhance your magnetic presence. But here's the twist. It has nothing to do with what you say about yourself. In fact, it's all about how you engage with others. This hidden dimension of charisma isn't about being the loudest voice in the room or having the most impressive stories to tell. Instead, it's about creating a space where others feel heard, understood, and important. It's about shifting your focus from impressing to being genuinely interested. But what exactly is this mysterious skill? How can simply engaging with others make you more charismatic? The answer lies in the art of asking questions. Not just any questions, mind you, but thoughtful, perceptive questions that demonstrate genuine curiosity and interest in the person you're talking to. You see, there's a fascinating quirk of human psychology at play here. People love to talk about themselves. It's not just a matter of ego or self-importance, it's actually hardwired into our brains. When we talk about ourselves, it activates the same pleasure centers in the brain that light up when we eat good food or receive money. By asking someone about their thoughts, experiences, or opinions, you're essentially giving them a small dose of pleasure. But the benefits of asking good questions go far beyond just making people feel good in the moment. Social psychology has long recognized what's known as the liking principle. We tend to like people who show interest in us and who listen responsively. By asking thoughtful questions and truly listening to the answers, you're not just gathering information, you're building rapport and creating a positive impression. This shift in focus, from trying to impress others to making others feel heard, can have a profound impact on how you're perceived. Paradoxically, by talking less about yourself and encouraging others to share more, you often end up being seen as more charismatic and likable. But not all questions are created equal. The type of questions you ask and how you ask them can make all the difference. Open-ended questions, for instance, are particularly powerful for stimulating meaningful conversation. Instead of asking questions that can be answered with a simple yes or no, try asking questions that invite elaboration and storytelling. For example, rather than asking, "Did you enjoy your weekend?" you might ask, "What was the highlight of your weekend?" This subtle shift opens the door for a more detailed and engaging response. It shows that you're not just making small talk, but that you're genuinely interested in hearing about their experiences. Even more powerful are follow-up questions. These are questions that dig deeper into something the person has just said. They demonstrate that you're not just listening, but that you're actively engaged and interested in learning more. Research has shown that people who ask more follow-up questions are consistently rated as more likable by their conversation partners. Imagine someone mentions they recently took up a new hobby. Instead of just acknowledging it and moving on, you might ask, "What inspired you to start that?" Or, "What's been the most challenging part so far?" These follow-up questions not only show that you're paying attention, but they also give the other person an opportunity to share more about something they're clearly interested in. Of course, there's a delicate balance to strike here. While asking questions is generally positive, it's possible to overdo it. Peppering someone with too many questions in rapid succession can feel like an interrogation rather than a conversation. The key is to find a natural rhythm, interspersing questions with your own comments and insights. This is where the concept of active listening comes into play. Active listening isn't just about hearing the words someone is saying, it's about fully engaging with their message. It involves using both verbal and nonverbal cues to show that you're present and attentive. Body language plays a crucial role in active listening. Facing the speaker, maintaining appropriate eye contact, and nodding occasionally all signal that you're engaged in the conversation. Small verbal affirmations like "I see," or "interesting" can encourage the speaker to continue and show that you're following along. One of the most powerful techniques in active listening is reflective feedback. This involves paraphrasing or summarizing what the other person has said to confirm your understanding. For instance, you might say, "So if I understand correctly, you're saying that." This not only ensures that you've interpreted their message accurately, but also makes the speaker feel truly heard and understood. It's important to note that active listening isn't about waiting for your turn to speak or thinking about what you're going to say next. It's about being fully present in the moment and genuinely trying to understand the other person's perspective. This level of attentiveness is rare, and it's one of the qualities that can make you stand out as truly charismatic. Now, you might be wondering how to balance asking questions and sharing about yourself. After all, a conversation should be a two-way street, not an interview. A good rule of thumb is to aim for a 50-50 split, or even 60-40 in favor of the other person, especially when you're first building rapport. This doesn't mean you should be silent half the time. Rather, it means that your contributions should include both questions and brief responses or related insights. For example, if someone shares that they love traveling, you might ask about their favorite destination, then briefly mention a place you've enjoyed visiting. This creates a back and forth that feels natural and balanced. The key is to use your own experiences or opinions as a way to relate to what they're saying, rather than to shift the focus entirely onto yourself. One effective technique for maintaining this balance is to use your questions as a springboard for mutual conversation. After someone answers a question, you can offer a related thought or experience of your own before asking another question. This creates a flow that feels more like a dialogue than a series of questions and answers. The art of questioning isn't just valuable in social settings, it's equally powerful in professional contexts. In networking situations, for instance, asking thoughtful questions can set you apart from those who simply recite their achievements or make a sales pitch. Instead of leading with what you do, try asking what brought the other person to the event or what they're most excited about in their work right now. This approach not only makes for more interesting conversation, but also demonstrates your genuine interest in others. For those in leadership positions, asking good questions is a crucial skill. By soliciting input from team members and genuinely valuing their perspectives, you create an environment where people feel heard and appreciated. This not only leads to better decision-making, but also enhances your charismatic appeal as a leader. Team members are more likely to be motivated and engaged when they feel their opinions matter. In client relations or sales contexts, questioning skills can be the difference between a transactional interaction and building a lasting, trust-based relationship. Instead of focusing solely on your product or service, ask about the client's needs, challenges, and goals. This consultative approach demonstrates that you're interested in finding the best solution for them, not just making a sale. As you develop your questioning skills, you'll find that there's often as much meaning in what's not said as in what is. Learning to pick up on emotional cues and subtext can take your conversational abilities to the next level. If someone gives a brief or unenthusiastic response to a question about their job, for instance. A perceptive follow-up might be, "It sounds like that might not be the most fulfilling part of your life right now. Is that accurate?" This kind of emotional intelligence shows that you're attuned not just to their words, but to their feelings as well. Of course, it's important to tread carefully when probing into more personal or emotional territory. Always be respectful of boundaries and be prepared to back off if someone seems uncomfortable. The goal is to create a safe space for open communication, not to pry into areas people aren't ready to discuss. One powerful technique is to ask about feelings in addition to facts. Many people default to discussing events or circumstances, but exploring the emotional dimension can lead to deeper, more meaningful conversations. For example, if someone mentions they recently moved to a new city, you might ask not just about the logistics of the move, but how they're feeling about the change. What's been the most exciting part so far? What do you miss most about your old city? These questions invite a more personal and engaging response. As you practice these questioning techniques, you'll likely find that your conversations become richer and more rewarding. You'll discover fascinating things about the people around you, form deeper connections, and be remembered as someone who truly listens and cares. But like any skill, becoming adept at asking good questions takes practice. One way to hone your abilities is to challenge yourself to ask at least 2 follow-up questions before changing the subject in your next few conversations. Pay attention to how this affects the flow of the interaction and how engaged the other person seems. Another helpful exercise is to keep a curiosity journal. At the end of each day, jot down one interesting thing you learned about someone through asking questions. This practice not only reinforces your questioning habit, but also trains you to approach each interaction with genuine curiosity. As you become more skilled at asking questions and active listening, you'll likely notice a shift in how others perceive you. You may find that people seek you out for conversations, that they remember interactions with you fondly, and that they're more likely to trust and confide in you. These are all hallmarks of charismatic presence, achieved not through dominating conversations, but through making others feel valued and understood. Remember, the goal isn't to become an expert interviewer or to treat every interaction like a formal question and answer session. Rather, it's about cultivating genuine curiosity about others and using questions as a tool to create meaningful connections. With practice, this approach will become natural, allowing you to navigate social and professional situations with ease and charm. As we conclude this chapter, you should feel equipped with a powerful new dimension of charismatic interaction. You understand the psychology behind effective questioning, the techniques for active listening, and the balance needed to create engaging, two-way conversations. With these skills, you're well on your way to enhancing your magnetic presence in any social or professional setting. But as powerful as questioning and listening skills are, they're just one piece of the charisma puzzle. In our next chapter, we'll explore a quality that can elevate your charismatic presence to new heights, one that allows you to maintain your magnetic aura even in the face of challenges or high-pressure situations. Are you ready to discover the secret to unshakable charisma? Chapter 7, Emotional Composure. Have you ever noticed how some individuals seem to radiate an aura of calm and confidence, even in the most challenging situations? They're the ones who remain unflappable in the face of pressure, who can soothe tensions with their mere presence, and who inspire trust and admiration in those around them. What is it about these people that sets them apart? What hidden quality allows them to maintain their poise and influence, even when others might crumble? As we delve into this chapter, we're about to uncover a crucial element of charisma that goes beyond mere words or actions. It's a quality that can elevate your presence from merely engaging to truly magnetic, allowing you to navigate both social and professional landscapes with grace and impact. But what exactly is this elusive trait, and how can you cultivate it within yourself? The answer lies in a concept known as emotional composure. It's the ability to stay calm, confident, and positive, even when faced with stress or high-stakes situations. But emotional composure is more than just keeping a straight face or suppressing your feelings. It's about mastering your internal emotional landscape and projecting the right emotions at the right time. You see, our emotions aren't just private experiences, they're contagious. Neuroscience and psychology have shown that we have a remarkable ability to catch feelings from others through a phenomenon known as emotional contagion. If you've ever found yourself feeling anxious simply because the person next to you is visibly nervous, or felt your mood lift when spending time with a particularly cheerful friend, you've experienced emotional contagion firsthand. This means that your emotional state doesn't just affect you, it ripples out to influence everyone around you. If you're anxious and jittery, it can make others uneasy. But if you're composed and upbeat, it tends to put others at ease. In essence, by managing your own emotional state, you're not just influencing your own experience, you're shaping the emotional atmosphere of your entire environment. Understanding this principle is key to unlocking a powerful aspect of charisma. By cultivating emotional composure, you become a source of stability and positive energy for others. In social gatherings, this makes you the person others gravitate towards for a sense of ease and enjoyment. In professional settings, it establishes you as a leader, someone others look to for guidance and reassurance, especially during challenging times. But what happens in our bodies and minds when we face stressful situations? To understand how to maintain composure, we first need to recognize what we're up against. When we encounter stress, our bodies naturally go into a fight or flight response. This ancient survival mechanism floods our system with stress hormones, preparing us for action. While this response can be life-saving in truly dangerous situations, it's often an overreaction in modern social or professional contexts. The physical symptoms of this stress response, a racing heart, sweaty palms, shaky hands, or a quavering voice, can undermine our confident image. But here's a crucial insight. These physical reactions don't have to dictate your behavior or presence. By understanding that these are normal, physiological responses, you can avoid interpreting them as signs of failure or inadequacy. Instead, you can learn to manage these reactions and maintain your composure. One effective technique for grounding yourself in moments of rising anxiety is deep breathing. By taking slow, deliberate breaths, inhaling for a count of 4 and exhaling for a count of 6, for example, you can activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps to calm your body's stress response. This simple act can help steady your nerves and clear your mind, allowing you to project a more composed presence. Another useful strategy is to use physical anchoring techniques. For instance, you might clench and release your fists under a table, or press your feet firmly into the ground. These actions can help release tension and provide a sense of stability. Even a simple mental mantra, like, "Stay cool, you've got this," can serve as a powerful reminder to maintain your composure. As you develop your ability to stay calm under pressure, it's important to understand the difference between true confidence and arrogance. Genuine confidence is quiet and steady. It's not about boasting or dominating others. It's a deep-seated belief in your own worth and abilities that naturally shines through in your demeanor. Emotionally composed individuals don't feel the need to constantly assert their superiority. Instead, their assurance comes through in their calm demeanor and their ability to listen to others. They're comfortable acknowledging when they don't know something and are open to learning from others. This humble confidence is far more charismatic than brash arrogance, which often repels rather than attracts. Your body language plays a crucial role in projecting confidence. Maintaining good posture, making appropriate eye contact, and speaking with a steady tone all contribute to an aura of self-assurance. It's also helpful to be aware of and minimize nervous habits like fidgeting or hair twirling, which can undermine your composed image. Interestingly, research has shown that our physical posture can actually influence our emotional state. This concept, known as embodied cognition, suggests that by adopting a confident pose, standing tall with your shoulders back and your hands relaxed, for example, you can actually induce feelings of confidence. Even if it doesn't completely erase your nerves, This practice can help you project a more confident image externally. Of course, maintaining emotional composure isn't just about projecting calm and confidence. It also involves effectively managing negative emotions like anger, frustration, or anxiety when they arise. One powerful technique for dealing with these challenging emotions is the simple act of pausing. When you feel yourself becoming angry or upset, take a moment, even just a few seconds, before responding. This brief pause can be enough to short-circuit an impulsive, emotionally charged reaction that you might later regret. Remember, charisma can be lost in an instant if you lash out or panic, but a composed response can actually enhance your charismatic presence. Another valuable strategy is to reframe your thoughts. Our emotional reactions are often driven by our interpretations of events rather than the events themselves. By applying critical thinking to these interpretations, you can often shift your emotional state. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "Everyone is judging me," during a presentation, challenge that assumption. Perhaps they're actually engaged in the content, or their expressions are unrelated to your performance. By choosing a more positive or neutral interpretation, you can maintain a calmer emotional state. It's also helpful to have a toolkit of emotion regulation techniques at your disposal. For instance, if you're feeling anxious, you might try a grounding exercise, like the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. Identify 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This practice can help pull you out of anxious thoughts and back into the present moment. While managing negative emotions is crucial, true emotional composure also involves the ability to project positive emotions effectively. A genuine smile, for instance, can be incredibly powerful. It's not about plastering on a fake grin, but about cultivating genuine positive feelings that naturally manifest in your expression. One simple trick is to think of something that makes you happy just before entering a room or beginning an interaction. This subtle emotional priming can put a real smile on your face that others will naturally respond to. When it comes to topics you're passionate about, don't be afraid to show enthusiasm. Emotional composure doesn't mean being flat or unemotional. It means expressing appropriate emotions at the right times. If you're excited about an idea, let that excitement shine through. Passion is infectious, and authentic enthusiasm can be incredibly charismatic. Equally important is the ability to show empathy and warmth when the situation calls for it. If someone shares a difficulty they're facing, responding with genuine concern through your words, tone, and body language demonstrates emotional intelligence and strengthens your connection with that person. Charismatic individuals often stand out because of their ability to make others feel seen, heard, and understood. This brings us to a crucial aspect of emotional composure: emotional intelligence. This involves not just managing your own emotions, but also being able to read and respond appropriately to the emotions of others. Developing this skill can dramatically enhance your charismatic presence. Start by training yourself to notice emotional cues in others, their tone of voice, body language, and overall demeanor. If you walk into a room and sense tension or anxiety, acknowledging it can be powerful. By naming the emotion and addressing it directly, you demonstrate awareness and leadership, which can help to diffuse the tension and redirect energy more productively. Sometimes, the most charismatic thing you can do is simply validate someone else's feelings. If a friend or colleague is clearly upset but trying to hide it, gently acknowledging their emotion and offering support can be incredibly meaningful. This kind of emotional attunement makes people feel understood and cared for, which naturally draws them to you. As you become more adept at reading and responding to emotions, you'll find that you can actually influence the emotional tone of a group. In a tense work situation, for example, your calm and optimistic presence can help shift the mood from panic to determination. In a social setting, your positive energy and enthusiasm can lift spirits and energize the entire group. Building emotional composure is not just about short-term techniques. It's about developing long-term resilience. One effective way to strengthen your emotional composure muscle is through exposure and experience. The more you put yourself in situations that challenge your composure, whether it's public speaking, attending large social events, or having difficult conversations, the more you build your tolerance for these stressors. What might terrify you the first time becomes more manageable the fifth time, and eventually, it might even become second nature. This doesn't mean you should recklessly throw yourself into overwhelming situations, but rather that you should gradually push your comfort zone. Speak up in one more meeting than you usually would. Attend that networking event, even if you feel a bit nervous, or initiate that tough conversation you've been putting off. Each experience teaches your nervous system that you can handle these situations, reducing anxiety over time. Mindfulness practices can also be incredibly beneficial for building emotional composure. Regular meditation, for instance, helps you practice observing your thoughts and feelings without being hijacked by them. This skill is directly transferable to high-pressure moments, allowing you to notice, "I'm feeling angry," or "I'm feeling anxious," without automatically acting on those emotions. Lastly, cultivating self-compassion is a crucial component of long-term emotional composure. Everyone has off days or moments when their composure slips. The key is how you recover from these moments. Instead of berating yourself for a mistake or an awkward interaction, try to approach yourself with kindness and understanding. This ability to forgive yourself and move on keeps your overall emotional state more positive and resilient. Remember, charisma isn't about being perfect. It's about how you handle imperfection. If you stumble over your words during a presentation, a charismatic recovery might involve a touch of self-deprecating humor. "Whoops, looks like my tongue decided to take a quick nap there," rather than becoming visibly flustered. This kind of graceful recovery can actually enhance your charismatic appeal, showing that you're human and relatable, yet confident enough to laugh at yourself. As you continue to develop your emotional composure, you'll likely notice a shift in how others perceive and respond to you. You may find that people increasingly turn to you for advice or support during challenging times. You might notice that your presence has a calming effect on tense situations, or that you're able to energize and motivate others more effectively. This enhanced charismatic presence isn't about manipulating others or putting on a show. It's about becoming a steady, positive force in your environment, someone who can navigate the ups and downs of both professional and social life with grace and authenticity. By mastering your own emotional landscape and learning to positively influence the emotions of those around you, you're not just enhancing your own charisma, you're contributing to a more positive, productive, and harmonious environment wherever you go. As we conclude this chapter on emotional composure, you should feel equipped with a powerful set of tools for managing your own emotions and positively influencing those around you. You understand the science behind emotional contagion, the importance of staying calm under pressure, and the techniques for projecting confidence and positivity. You've learned strategies for managing negative emotions, expressing positive ones effectively, and reading and responding to the emotional cues of others. But as crucial as emotional composure is to charisma, it's just one piece of a larger puzzle. In our next chapter, we'll explore a skill that can take your charismatic presence to new heights, one that allows you to not just connect with others, but to truly influence and inspire them. Are you ready to unlock the secret of turning your composed presence into a force for positive change? Chapter 8, Persuasion. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have an almost magical ability to sway others to their point of view? They're the ones who can turn a skeptical audience into enthusiastic supporters, who can effortlessly convince friends to try new experiences, or who can navigate complex negotiations with ease. What is it about these individuals that makes them so influential? As we delve into this chapter, we're about to uncover a powerful aspect of charisma that goes beyond mere charm or likability. It's a skill that can elevate your ability to create positive change, to inspire action, and to shape outcomes in both your personal and professional life. But what exactly is this mysterious ability, and how can you develop it within yourself? The answer lies in the art and science of persuasion. But before you conjure images of manipulative salespeople or cunning politicians, let's be clear. The kind of persuasion we're talking about is far more nuanced and ethical. It's about using your charismatic presence to influence others in a way that's authentic, respectful, and mutually beneficial. Persuasion, in its purest form, is the ability to present ideas in such a compelling way that others are inspired to think or act differently. It's not about forcing your will onto others or tricking them into agreement. Rather, it's about creating a connection, building understanding, and guiding people towards a shared vision or goal. But why is persuasion such a crucial component of charisma? Think about the most charismatic people you know. Chances are, they're not just pleasant to be around, they're also influential. They have the ability to rally others behind their ideas, to inspire action, and to create positive change in their environments. This is the power of persuasion at work. The good news is that persuasion, like other aspects of charisma, is a skill that can be learned and refined. It's part art and part science, drawing on principles of psychology, communication, and critical thinking. By understanding these principles and practicing specific techniques, you can dramatically enhance your ability to influence others in positive ways. One of the fundamental principles of persuasion is understanding your audience. This might seem obvious, but it's surprising how often people launch into persuasive attempts without really considering who they're talking to and what matters to them. Effective persuaders know that the key to influence is empathy, the ability to step into the other person's shoes and see the world from their perspective. Think about it. If you're trying to convince a friend to join you in a new hobby, what approach would work best? Would you focus on the health benefits, the social aspects, or the potential for personal growth? The answer depends entirely on what motivates your friend. By taking the time to understand their values, concerns, and aspirations, you can tailor your message in a way that resonates deeply with them. This principle applies equally in professional settings. If you're proposing a new initiative at work, your approach might differ depending on whether you're speaking to the finance team or the human resources department. The core idea might be the same, but the aspects you emphasize and the language you use would be tailored to what each group cares about most. Another crucial aspect of persuasion is building credibility. People are more likely to be persuaded by those they trust and respect. This doesn't mean you need to be an expert in everything, but it does mean doing your homework and being honest about what you know and don't know. In a professional context, this might involve citing reputable sources or successful case studies to support your arguments. In a social setting, it could be as simple as accurately referencing relevant information you've come across. The key is to demonstrate that you've given thought to the topic and have a solid basis for your perspective. Interestingly, admitting what you don't know can actually increase your credibility. Saying, "I'm not sure about that aspect, but I can find out," is often more persuasive than trying to bluff your way through. It shows integrity and a commitment to accuracy, which builds trust. If you have relevant expertise or credentials, don't be afraid to leverage them, but do so humbly. A simple phrase like, "In my experience working in this field," can establish your authority without coming across as boastful. And if you don't have direct expertise, you can borrow credibility by referencing respected figures or organizations that support your position. Once you've established understanding and credibility, the next step is to make your case in a clear and compelling way. This is where the logical structure of your argument comes into play. A common and effective format is to start by outlining the problem or goal, then present your solution or idea, and finally explain the benefits of adopting your proposal. This structure works well because it follows a natural thought process. It identifies a need or opportunity, which gets people's attention, offers a way to address it, which engages their problem-solving instincts, and then paints a picture of the positive outcomes, which motivates action. Supporting your arguments with evidence is crucial. This could be in the form of statistics, expert opinions, or relevant examples. The key is to make your claims concrete and believable. If you're trying to persuade a team to adopt a new work process, for instance, you might cite efficiency gains reported by other companies who've implemented similar changes. It's also important to anticipate potential counterarguments and address them proactively. This shows that you've thought critically about your proposal and considered different perspectives. By acknowledging potential objections up front and providing reasoned responses, you demonstrate fairness and thoroughness, which can disarm skeptics and build confidence in your position. While logical arguments are important, truly effective persuasion also appeals to emotions. This is where the power of storytelling comes into play. A well-crafted narrative can illustrate your points in a way that's more engaging and memorable than dry facts alone. For example, if you're trying to persuade a group to support a charitable cause, sharing a brief story about someone who's been helped by the charity can be far more impactful than simply stating statistics. The story helps listeners connect emotionally with the cause, making them more likely to take action. Similarly, when proposing changes in a work environment, painting a vivid picture of the positive outcomes can be very persuasive. Help your audience imagine how much smoother their work life could be, how proud they'll feel of their achievements, or how they'll be able to focus on more rewarding tasks. By engaging their emotions and imagination, you make your proposal more compelling and motivating. The words you choose can also have a significant emotional impact. Framing your ideas in positive, inspiring language can make them more appealing. For instance, describing a new initiative as something that will unlock potential or open up exciting possibilities is more persuasive than framing it as a way to fix problems or catch up with competitors. Another powerful principle of persuasion is social proof. We're naturally influenced by what others do, especially those we perceive as similar to us or as authorities in a given area. If you can show that others have already adopted your idea successfully, it becomes much more persuasive. This could involve mentioning how other respected individuals or organizations have implemented similar approaches. In a professional setting, you might reference industry leaders or competitors who've adopted practices similar to what you're proposing. In a social context, mentioning that mutual friends have tried and enjoyed an activity you're suggesting can be very influential. Building a coalition of support can also be a powerful persuasion tactic. If you can get a respected colleague to publicly endorse your idea, for instance, it can sway others who might be on the fence. Just be careful that this doesn't come across as ganging up on dissenters. The support should feel organic and genuine. While all these tactics can be highly effective, it's crucial to approach persuasion ethically. The goal should always be to influence others in a way that's honest, respectful, and mutually beneficial. Manipulative tactics like lying, insincere flattery, or pressuring people when they're vulnerable might work in the short term, but they ultimately undermine trust and damage relationships. A truly charismatic persuader makes others feel empowered, not coerced. Even after making your best case, it's important to acknowledge the other person's right to make their own decision. Paradoxically, this respect for autonomy often makes people more open to your influence, as they don't feel pressured or manipulated. Adopting a win-win mindset is key to ethical persuasion. The goal should be to find outcomes that benefit everyone involved, not to win at the expense of others. If you realize that what you're proposing isn't actually in the best interest of the other party, the most charismatic and ethical move is to acknowledge this and adjust your proposal accordingly. As you develop your persuasion skills, it's helpful to practice in low-stakes situations. Try convincing a friend to try a new restaurant, or persuade a colleague to adopt a small change in their work routine. These micro-persuasion exercises allow you to practice structuring arguments and reading reactions without significant consequences. After each attempt at persuasion, successful or not, take time to reflect. What worked well? Did you connect more through emotional appeal or logical reasoning? If you weren't successful, did you misjudge what the other person cared about, or perhaps come on too strong? This kind of critical self-reflection is crucial for refining your persuasion skills over time. It's also valuable to learn from skilled persuaders around you. Pay attention to charismatic speakers or influential colleagues. How do they structure their arguments? How do they use stories or data to make their points? How do they address concerns or objections? By observing and analyzing these techniques, you can incorporate effective strategies into your own persuasive style. As you practice and refine your persuasion skills, you'll likely find that it becomes more natural and effortless. You'll develop an intuitive sense of how to approach different people and situations, how to frame your ideas for maximum impact, and how to guide conversations towards positive outcomes. Remember, the goal of developing your persuasion skills isn't to become someone who can talk others into anything. Rather, it's about enhancing your ability to communicate your ideas effectively, to inspire positive action, and to create mutually beneficial outcomes. When combined with the other charismatic skills we've explored, clear communication, active listening, emotional composure, and so on, persuasion becomes a powerful force for positive influence in your personal and professional life. By the end of this chapter, you should feel equipped with a robust toolkit of persuasion techniques grounded in ethical principles. You understand the importance of knowing your audience, building credibility, structuring logical arguments, appealing to emotions, and leveraging social proof. You're aware of the power of your words and the importance of framing your ideas positively. And crucially, you recognize that true persuasion is about creating win-win situations, not manipulating others for personal gain. As you continue to develop these skills, you'll likely notice a shift in how others respond to your ideas and proposals. You may find that you're able to build consensus more easily, inspire action more effectively, and navigate complex interpersonal dynamics with greater ease. This enhanced ability to influence and inspire is a hallmark of true charismatic presence. But as powerful as persuasion is, it's just one facet of the multidimensional quality we call charisma. In our final chapter, we'll explore how all the skills and principles we've covered come together to create something truly remarkable, a magnetic presence that draws others in and leaves a lasting positive impression wherever you go. Are you ready to discover the secret to becoming unforgettable? Chapter 9, Magnetic Presence. As we reach the final chapter of our journey into the science of charisma, it's time to bring together all the elements we've explored and understand how they coalesce into something truly remarkable, a magnetic presence. This is the pinnacle of charisma, the point where all your skills and knowledge come together to create an aura that naturally draws others to you, inspires trust, and leaves a lasting positive impression. Throughout this book, we've delved into various aspects of charismatic behavior, from managing perceptions and communicating clearly to storytelling, active listening, maintaining emotional composure, and ethical persuasion. Each of these skills is powerful in its own right, but when combined, they create something far greater than the sum of their parts. Think of charisma as an ecosystem of interconnected skills. Your ability to listen attentively, for instance, enhances your storytelling by helping you understand what narratives will resonate with your audience. Your emotional composure underpins your ability to communicate confidently, even in high-pressure situations. Your persuasive skills are amplified by the trust you've built through authentic interactions and genuine empathy. At the heart of this ecosystem lies the fundamental balance of warmth and competence. Remember, these are the two key dimensions on which people judge others almost instantaneously. Warmth encompasses qualities like friendliness, empathy, and trustworthiness. Competence includes attributes like capability, confidence, and reliability. A truly magnetic presence strikes the perfect balance between these two dimensions, making others feel both comfortable in your presence and confident in your abilities. As you've developed your charismatic skills, you've been working on both internal and external aspects of this presence. Internally, you've cultivated a mindset of genuine interest in others, critical self-awareness, and emotional intelligence. Externally, you've honed your body language, verbal communication, and social skills. The magic happens when these internal and external elements align seamlessly. But here's a crucial point. Developing a magnetic presence isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about becoming the best, most authentic version of yourself. This is where the concept of authenticity becomes paramount. Your charisma should be an extension of your true self, not a mask you put on. Take a moment to reflect on your core values and traits. What principles guide your actions? What unique qualities define you? Your charismatic presence should be built around these fundamental aspects of your personality. If you value honesty, for example, your charisma might manifest as a reputation for straight talk and integrity. If creativity is central to who you are, your magnetic presence might be characterized by innovative ideas and imaginative problem-solving. This focus on authenticity doesn't mean you can't adapt to different situations. In fact, adaptability is a key component of charisma. Think of it as highlighting different facets of your personality depending on the context. You might emphasize your sense of humor among friends, your analytical skills in a work meeting, and your empathy when comforting a loved one. The key is that all of these are genuine aspects of who you are, not artificial personas you adopt. One of the clearest signs of authentic charisma is consistency between your words, actions, and nonverbal cues. When you genuinely believe in what you're saying and doing, this alignment happens naturally. Your body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions all support your message without conscious effort. This congruence is what makes your presence feel genuine and trustworthy to others. As you continue to practice and refine your charismatic skills, you'll find that they become more and more habitual. What once required conscious effort, maintaining eye contact, asking thoughtful questions, projecting confidence, will start to feel natural and effortless. This is the point where charisma truly becomes a part of who you are, rather than something you do. To accelerate this process, consider incorporating small daily rituals into your routine. Perhaps you could set a goal to strike up a conversation with one new person each day, or to practice active listening in every interaction. You might dedicate a few minutes each evening to reflecting on your interactions, celebrating your successes, and identifying areas for improvement. These consistent, small efforts compound over time, gradually transforming your charismatic behaviors into ingrained habits. As your magnetic presence becomes more natural, you'll likely start to notice its impact in various areas of your life. In personal relationships, you may find that your connections deepen as friends and loved ones feel truly heard and understood in your presence. Your ability to navigate conflicts with grace and empathy can strengthen bonds and resolve issues more smoothly. In your professional life, a magnetic presence can be a game changer. Even without a formal leadership title, you may find colleagues increasingly looking to you for guidance and inspiration. Your ability to communicate clearly, build rapport, and influence ethically can open doors to new opportunities and responsibilities. Networking becomes less of a chore and more of an enjoyable chance to connect and exchange ideas. But the impact of your charisma isn't limited to your immediate personal and professional circles. As you move through the world with your newfound magnetic presence, you have the power to positively influence a wide range of situations. Whether you're volunteering in your community, attending a social event, or simply going about your daily activities, your charisma can create ripples of positivity. You might inspire confidence in someone who's feeling unsure, bring a spark of joy to a routine interaction, or be the catalyst for bringing people together around a shared goal. It's important to remember that developing charisma is a lifelong journey. Even as you master the skills we've discussed, there will always be new areas to explore and refine. Perhaps you'll delve deeper into the nuances of cross-cultural communication or explore advanced techniques in public speaking. You might find yourself drawn to studying the intricacies of conflict resolution or the psychology of motivation. Don't hesitate to seek feedback as you continue to grow. Ask trusted friends, colleagues, or mentors for their honest observations about your interactions and presence. Their insights can provide valuable perspectives on your progress and highlight areas you might not have considered. As you look to the future, take a moment to envision the charismatic individual you're becoming. Imagine yourself a year from now, confidently navigating social and professional situations with ease. Picture the positive impact you'll have on others, the inspiration you'll provide, the connections you'll foster, the positive change you'll catalyze. This is the power of a truly magnetic presence. Remember, your journey into charisma isn't just about personal gain. By developing these skills, you're equipping yourself to be a force for good in the world. Your ability to connect deeply with others, to communicate effectively, to inspire and influence ethically, these are powerful tools for creating positive change in your environment. As we conclude this exploration of charisma, I want to leave you with a final thought. The science of charisma that we've uncovered throughout this book is indeed learnable and actionable. With the knowledge you've gained and the techniques you've practiced, you have everything you need to cultivate a truly magnetic presence. The key now is to step out into the world and put these skills into action. Every interaction is an opportunity to refine your charisma, to touch someone's life positively, to make a difference. Embrace these opportunities with enthusiasm and authenticity. Be patient with yourself as you grow, celebrate your progress, and always strive to use your charismatic powers for the greater good. As you embark on your journey to embody charisma, remember that true influence extends beyond mere presence. While you've unlocked the science of charisma within yourself, there's a complementary skill that can amplify your impact exponentially. It's the ability to not just attract, but to truly move others to action. This next-level mastery is what separates those who are simply liked from those who genuinely shape the world around them. Curious about what this transformative skill might be? The answer lies in the art of persuasion, a powerful companion to your newfound charismatic presence. To truly maximize the potential of your magnetic personality and create lasting change, I highly recommend exploring the audiobook, The Art of Persuasion, Master Communication and Influence Anyone. This essential guide will take your ability to connect and inspire to new heights, ensuring that your charismatic presence translates into real-world results. Tap the center of the video now to continue your transformation journey.